Hi everyone, it's Simon Keeling here at weatherweb.net. Thanks again for watching on Sunday the 8th of October. Now, just a reminder that the site that you see here is all kept free of charge by the adverts that you see around the screen. When you come back and use the site, it's that keeps us free of charge. So thanks for keeping on coming back and visiting, and thanks for telling your friends about what we do. Now, I want to focus on the CFS today because it's very interesting that the latest run has actually come almost smack in on what we've said we thought that September was going to be like. Remember, I was telling you that week one was showing us high pressure out towards the west, high pressure to the east, low pressure to the south, and low pressure to the northwest. This is the area of low pressure that will clear eastwards during the course of the coming week. Now, what's interesting is that it's now showing week two as high pressure building quite strongly into the southern parts of the country with above normal heights. Low the normal pressure though up towards the north, and a strengthened jet stream here through week two affecting central and northern parts of Scotland. Now, temperature-wise, CFS is showing us with temperatures below normal for the time of year through week one, but then from the 15th to the 21st, you'll notice there, if we just zoom in a little bit on that, you'll notice there that temperatures are still pretty cold across Scotland, but near to above normal across the south of the country as the better weather moves in. So the CFS certainly is seeing this. Incidentally, just notice here, look, the lower than normal temperatures here out in the Atlantic. That's something that could have an impact on sea surface temperatures as we head into late September. Now, rainfall looking something like this. We've got near to above normal rainfall across northern parts of Ireland and also Scotland through the coming week. Dry down towards the south and through Wales as well. But then for week two, and we'll do the zoom into week two again, there we go. You see rainfall around about normal for much of England and Wales, below normal down to the south, and I think probably what that indicates is that most of any rain would be during the first part of this period, not in the second part, but some pretty hefty bursts of rain developing across northern and western Scotland. Of course, remember the jet stream was close by, developing, and it's that will drive the fronts into northern and western Scotland. So on to week three, and bit of a change here, which actually falls in line with our forecast. This is the period from the 22nd to the 28th, and it shows high pressure, higher than normal heights across the whole of the Atlantic, stretching in from Newfoundland across to the UK. So high pressure certainly seen as being a dominating factor during this week. Now, you remember me saying it was going to be sometime from around the 17th or the 18th onwards that we'd see fine weather probably coming in for 6 or so days. Then into week four, and the high tending to be shown slipping away towards the east. It becomes a ridge out towards the east, and we do tend to find this sort of trough feature, double trough feature, moving in. So that would put high pressure out here during this period right at the end of the month. And this is the one that's uncertain at the moment, because with the trough down here and with the ridge out towards the west of the country, you'll be looking for probably winds rotating like so, tending to get a northerly flow through the country. Cooler conditions probably affecting more of Scotland and eastern parts of the country without breaks of rain or showers there. Probably drier out to the west, but I think a deterioration is going to be taking place during this period. Probably quite a slow deterioration, but I do think the end of the month is going to be ending more unsettled, probably more unsettled than is hinted at on this map. Temperature-wise, here's how things look for week three. Notice for the UK here, look, we've got temperatures around or just above normal. Week four, again, around or just above normal temperatures. Rainfall-wise, dry for week three, taking us from the 22nd to the 28th of September, up to nearer normal conditions, 29th of September to the 5th of October, although drier down towards the south and the west. In the shorter term, both the ECMWF and the GFS are showing us on the 7 to 10 day means here, which go from next Sunday through to Wednesday the 18th. Look, they're showing this build of pressure out in the Atlantic and strengthening the jet stream up towards the north of Scotland. So they're tying in with what week one from the CFS was telling us. So we can have fair confidence that that's the way this is going to turn out. Interesting just to take note of the NAO as well, and we'll just zoom into that and have a look at how that shapes up. Look, it's hovering, forecast to be around normal for the time of year, so we're hovering around about neutral, which would bring in those westerlies and keep that mainly westerly wind dominating through the Atlantic. This taking us up to the 19th of September. The Arctic Oscillation showing something similar as well, but it does show a dip at the end. Look, it shows neutral conditions, which means that the westerly winds around the pole are around normal, which means that the cold air is kept up to the pole, and that generates or shows us more of a westerly flow. But then you'll notice right at the very end here, look, a dip off in that blue line. That means that the Arctic Oscillation forecast to go slightly negative, which means that the winds weaken, which hints at that flow trying to turn into a northerly. And of course, that's what the CFS hinted at towards the end of the month. So is that the start of the change that it's detecting? So it's good that the CFS is coming into line with our forecast. Now, of course, you always have to be careful that you're not seeing what you want to see in these charts, but it does look as if the CFS is now trying to get a handle on the story overall. And incidentally, that probably bodes well for the winter forecast coming out of the CFS as well, and we'll take a look at that during the coming week. But for now, thanks for watching. Whatever you're doing, have a great day, and keep the sun shining. Bye for now.